Good morning and welcome back to Bald Feather Bets. Cheers with what is some Detroit Bold Keurig brew coffee. It's actually pretty good. Coming at you from a basement in Berkeley, Michigan. Do a quick recap of Friday Night Football last night. Lay out our plays then for today, College Football Saturday. But first, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, notifications on, so you know when we post. This one's several hours before kickoff, but sometimes we are pretty close up until kickoff. And just interact with the content, please. Like, share, comment. Let me know what your plays are for College Football Saturday, if there's anything you're playing that we did not, if you're going against us in any of our plays. Or if you're riding with us and we didn't touch on anything, let us know why. Let us know some other nuggets that we missed. So Friday, last night, we run Tulane plus 5.5 for 3 units. Tulane won outright, so that was a win. Really just a high-scoring game between both, to where neither defense necessarily could get a stop, but then there was a lull there in between where Memphis just were putting yards together, putting drives together and getting yards, but not really cashing for a lot of points. So then Tulane gets this stretched out lead, and then they're able to hold on at the end when Memphis made a very strong comeback. So at one point, I think it was 38-17, and Tulane won 38-32, and Memphis got the 32 with like 7 minutes left in the game, and then got the ball back immediately. So I mean, Memphis had every chance to win that game. They just they didn't there at the end. So yeah, we've told you these group of 5 teams are going to come down to no one is elite in this group of 5 category. And why I say that, I mean in the relative context of being elite within a group of 5 category. So last year you had Boise State, who was significantly far and above any other group of 5 team, mainly because of Ashton Genty. And you don't have that this year with any of the group of 5 teams. So I think you're going to see that spot in the college football playoff kind of rotate out a lot as we close out the season. Memphis was the hot name because they got the first nod after the first week. People saw them beat USF. We were on them against USF. But it's hard for those teams to hold on to that when they're hunted and they're not necessarily equipped to be hunted. They don't have like an extreme talent advantage over the next team that's coming up for them. So yeah. So anyway, that was plus 3 in units on that one, and that brings us to 460, 329, and 20 on the year. So having a really positive season. We just want to keep stacking positive days on top of positive days. All right, so today, College Football Saturday. We've given you, I think, all these so far, honestly, throughout the week. That's why it's important that you are following each one of the videos, because we give out plays throughout the week at certain numbers, and then those numbers may potentially not be available if you were to get it later. In rare instances, you can get it later at the same number, or sometimes even at a better number. So anyway, so starting it off with the early slate games, we are on Texas Tech minus 9.5 for 15 units. You can take this thing all the way up to whatever the hell you want. BYU is not in the same caliber. They're not in the same class. They're not in the same stratosphere as Texas Tech. BYU is not a very good football team. Texas Tech has the number 1 run defense in college football. Now, do I think they're the best run defense in all of college football? No, but they're up there. Yeah, they've played a Big 12 schedule, so I'm not going to say that like I think their run defense is, I don't know, better than Texas's, but it's good enough to be ranked number 1 in the country, and it's very good. So if BYU doesn't have their run game going, then they're going to put everything on QB wide receiver play, and they are getting a weapon back at wide receiver, I think, since like week 1 or something. The guy hasn't played. But I just think that in that environment in Lubbock, game day there, people have been camping out since like Monday. I don't even think anybody went to class this week in Lubbock, which is awesome. Good for them. We got 90-year-old people doing keg stands. That was pretty awesome as well. I just don't think BYU has any chance in hell of keeping this one close. This reminds me a lot. It's not a night game. I would prefer if it was a night game, but it reminds me a lot of Cincinnati versus Utah last week, where we laid the 10 with Utah and said, yeah, there's no, like, they're going to blow them out. Texas Tech is going to blow out BYU today. They're not in the same league of each other. So Texas Tech minus 9.5, 15 units. Take it up to whatever the hell it gets up to. If you get it late, it doesn't matter. It won't matter. Okay. That's the only the noon window that we're playing. Then in at the 3:30 window. Yeah, the 3:30 window. We're taking Iowa plus 7 against Oregon, and we're taking Missouri plus 7.5 against Texas A&M, and both of those are for 5 units. Iowa, Oregon. We've been on. Oregon is not as good as people think they are for a little while now. Oregon essentially needs explosive run plays to be successful. So if you look at their offensive breakdown, they gain yardage through 20-plus yard run plays, and then they gain yardage through quick, short pass plays, and then every once in a while they throw a bomb to DeCorian Moore. So I absolutely think that it could be different if they get Evan Stewart back later in the year, but they don't have him for this game. Iowa is essentially the best defense at not giving you explosive run plays. It's also just the way Phil Parker coaches his defense. Like they frustrate you very much so. Now, I don't love how public this, like, Iowa's going to beat Oregon has got. I don't love that Kirk Herbstreit went on McAfee's show and was like, Iowa's going to beat Oregon this weekend. Because then Lanning showing that in all the weight rooms, everything. I don't necessarily love that. Sorry, needed some coffee. But Iowa should beat Oregon today, honestly. They should beat them straight up. They match up really well against Oregon. Oregon's not that good. And Iowa just has a way of winning games that are probably going to go the way today's goes. If Oregon does not get an early lead on Iowa, Oregon is in absolute trouble to get outright beat. Missouri A&M, too much points being added to that line due to backup QB for Missouri. The quarterback situation at Missouri for current QB1 is not that bad. Where Missouri's in trouble is if this kid goes down, they truly have nothing, because he's QB3. He probably would have taken over QB2 at some point in the season, because he's very, very talented. He's like one of the most talented freshman quarterbacks Missouri's ever had. But if they lose him, they have nothing behind him. But with him, the point spread differential between him and Prabula, I'm saying him, is Zorez? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Whatever the hell his name is. The point differential between him and Prabula is not all that much. But due to public perception and things like that, this line got pushed to over a key number of 7. And so that's why we're on Missouri plus 7.5. While A&M has been good, and as of late, they seem to have, Elko's kind of tightened down on the defense. A lot of people look at their undefeated record, and then they look at the fact that they're in the SEC and they're like, oh, wow, yeah, they must be one of the best teams in the country. And don't get me wrong, they're one of the best teams in the country. But it hasn't been without 3-point wins at Arkansas, 1-point win against Notre Dame, where probably a pretty significant hold on the 4th and goal touchdown. Who else did they beat? They beat another team that was like pretty sloppy. They blew out Mississippi State in a way that was a very game control style. They played very well against Florida. Outside of that, they haven't really kind of flexed too hard. And we're in November, which November is A&M shit the bed season, right? A&M does amazing things in September and October a lot. And I do think it'll be different under Mike Elko, I do. So that's not why we're making the pick, but we have a historical trend here of A&M underperforming in the month of November. Then we go into the evening window, prime time, 7:30, and we got 2 plays. Notre Dame minus 27 for 3 units, and LSU plus 10.5 for 5 units. So we'll start with LSU, Alabama. This number is one of 2 things. This number is significantly too low if the only thing you're looking at here is essentially a model which takes into account this season. This model is significantly too high if you take into account overall team talent, Alabama, LSU, historical trends of this rivalry, all sorts of things like that. There's the other added factor here of interim coach game for LSU. I'm a semi-believer in the interim coach game theory. I am a believer in it when it would appear that everyone in your locker room absolutely fucking hated the head coach who got fired. And it would appear that at least 90% of that locker room couldn't stand Brian Kelly. And so the fact that he's gone, and the fact that the interim coach is someone who is just absolutely beloved by what would appear to be the entire state of Louisiana, I think you'll see an emotionally up effort from LSU. So this is another one where they're going to come out of the gates with a very, very strong, fiery, spirited effort. And can they use that momentum to get an early lead? If they can, then there's a very good chance that they'll cover the 10.5. If Alabama thwarts that, pushes them down, and after the first quarter has a lead, then Alabama's probably going to pull away over time, because they are a better team. Alabama's a national title contender, and LSU is very, very far from that. So we'll see. I don't love that one as much as I love like Iowa or Missouri or obviously Texas Tech, but I do like it. So LSU plus 10.5, 5 units. Notre Dame minus 27 for 3 units. So Notre Dame's beaten the ever-loving Howard Navy the past 2 years, and it's because Notre Dame now plays all the service academies like every year. So the whole triple option thing doesn't throw them off because they see it all the time. The reason this is giving me a little bit more pause and why it's not a stronger unit play is with like Riley Leonard, Notre Dame was essentially a better version of a triple option team than a service academy was. And that's the worst thing that one of those service academies can go up against, because if they're able to triple option you better than you can triple option, they have no chance, because that's like how they get teams, is they're different. But Notre Dame defense was going up against Riley Leonard every day in practice. Like they were essentially going up against that. That isn't how Notre Dame runs their offense anymore. So in theory, Notre Dame should be able to have Price and Love go for 500 yards in this game, because Navy isn't all that great at defending the run. But Horvath and the Navy offense may get a little something going, which is why this is only a 3-unit play for me with Notre Dame. That's it. We are not adding any additional plays to what we already have added for you guys on Sunday at this time. We will be back at you again tomorrow for NFL Sunday, where we pick every game against the spread. Please, again, give the channel some love. Make sure you're watching all our videos. Like, share, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on the slate for College Football Saturday today. Thank you. Have a great day.